Snow twirled through the night air like tiny dancers, catching in Emma's hair as she stood at the edge of the Christmas market, trying to steady her breathing. The twinkling lights, the smell of roasted chestnuts, the soft hum of carols, it all should have felt magical. But instead, each light felt like a spotlight on her loneliness. She had arrived early, cheeks flushed with nervous excitement, brushing her fingers over her coat buttons as she waited. Her sister had shown her the man's profile, kind eyes, she'd said. Looks stable, normal, and he actually volunteers at dog shelters. This could be good for you, Em. So Emma had believed her. Just a little. But when he finally arrived, he barely even slowed his steps. His gaze skimmed over her face, down to her boots, back up again. She gave a hopeful smile. He didn't return it. "You're Emma?" he asked flatly. "Yes." She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "Nice to meet." "Sorry," he said, already turning away, "not my type." And just like that, he disappeared into the crowd, leaving nothing behind but a cold gust of wind and a dull ache settling in Emma's chest. She stood frozen for a full minute, piecing together what happened, then realizing it wasn't worth piecing together at all. Tears pricked her eyes, hot and humiliating. Couples passed her, laughing, hands intertwined. Children darted between legs, tugging parents toward cocoa stands and toy stalls. Everywhere she looked, there was warmth. Except around her. She wrapped her arms around herself. "Well," she whispered, voice thin, "Merry Christmas to me." Emma turned away and began walking aimlessly through the market. Fake snowflakes drifted from machines above the craft stalls, landing on her lashes. Lanterns glowed golden against the night sky, the air buzzing with cheerful noise, but she couldn't feel any of it. Her heart felt stuck somewhere behind that man's careless words. She found herself stopping beside the carousel, its music slow and nostalgic. Children waved from painted horses. Parents filmed with phones, eyes soft. And Emma, she simply watched, wishing she belonged to a scene like that. Wishing she wasn't always the extra person at holiday dinners, the single friend at weddings, the one who bought her own birthday cake. She blinked hard, but a tear escaped anyway. Great. Crying in public. Exactly what she promised herself she wouldn't do tonight. She turned toward the exit, determined to go home, crawl under a blanket, and pretend none of this happened. But just as she took a step, a tiny tug at her sleeve stopped her. She looked down. A small mittened hand clung to her coat. The girl attached to it was tiny, maybe 6 years old, with a red beanie slightly crooked on her head, curls peeking out like springs. Her coat was puffy and purple, a little worn at the elbows. She held a stuffed reindeer in one hand, its stitching frayed and one antler bent. Her brown eyes were wide and shimmering, not with fear, but with concern. "You're crying," the girl whispered, her voice soft like she didn't want to scare Emma. Emma quickly wiped her cheeks, forcing a smile. "No, no, I'm okay." "Really?" "You don't look okay," the girl said seriously, frowning in the way only a child could, honest, protective, unbothered by social rules. Emma let out a shaky breath. "It's just been a bad night, sweetie." The girl bit her lip, glancing behind Emma as if making sure no one else was around. Then she leaned a little closer, voice trembling but purposeful. "Are you hurt? Did someone say something mean to you?" The question hit Emma harder than she expected. She'd spent all night trying not to admit the truth, even to herself. But this child saw right through her. "Yes," Emma whispered. "Someone said something mean." The girl stepped closer until she was almost hugging Emma's leg. Her little fingers tightened around the coat fabric. "You shouldn't be alone," the girl said, her voice small but sure. "Not when you're sad." Emma swallowed, her throat aching. "I'll be okay. I promise." But the girl looked unconvinced. She lifted the stuffed reindeer and pressed it gently against Emma's hand. "Here," she said. "Rennie makes me feel better. You can hold him." Emma almost burst into tears again, but this time for a different reason. That someone so small could show so much empathy, it unraveled her completely. "Thank you," she whispered. "He's perfect." The girl nodded, satisfied, then leaned in again, so close that Emma felt the warmth of her breath against her scarf. "Can you be my mom?" Emma froze. The world seemed to stop, the music, the chatter, even the snow. The girl's voice had been soft, almost fearful, as if she knew she was asking something impossible. Her eyes suddenly looked vulnerable, too old for her age. Emma sank to her knees so they were eye level. "Sweetheart, where's your mom?" The girl's lips trembled, and she looked down at her boots. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. Before Emma could ask more, a frantic voice sliced through the crowd. "Lily? Lily!" The girl flinched, not like she was afraid, but like she'd been caught doing something she wasn't supposed to. A tall man rushed toward them from between the vendor stalls. His dark jacket was dusted with snow, his scarf loose, hair tousled like he'd been running for a while. His face was tight with worry, scanning every direction until it landed on the girl. He dropped to his knees instantly. "Oh, thank God," he breathed, pulling her into a tight embrace. "Lily, you can't run off like that. I thought." His voice broke. He hugged her even tighter. Lily didn't hug back at first. She glanced at Emma. She was crying, Lily said, pointing up at Emma as if that justified everything. She needed someone. The man followed her gaze, finally seeing Emma fully for the first time. Their eyes met. Something in his face shifted. His panic faded into something gentler, concern, apology, empathy all mixed together. His breath misted in the cold air as he stood slowly, keeping a protective hand on Lily's shoulder. "I'm so sorry," he said softly. She's still going through a lot." "It's okay," Emma said quickly. "She didn't bother me at all." But Lily shook her head fiercely and tugged Emma's hand again. "Daddy," she whispered loudly, "she's perfect." Her father frowned. "Perfect for what, sweetheart?" Lily hesitated, her small face earnest and hopeful. "To be my mom." Emma felt her heart collapse and bloom all at once. The man exhaled sharply, eyes widening, but instead of brushing it off, instead of laughing awkwardly, instead of pulling Lily behind him, he looked at Emma. Really looked. And in that look was something raw, something wounded, something searching, like he was seeing not just a woman crying in the cold, but someone who might understand pain the way he did. Someone who wasn't a stranger at all. Someone who might matter.